We're talking about the collapse of the Zambian Male. The Zambian Male as a provider and the changing gender roles in Zambia. Welcome, Mama.
Bonjour.
Yeah, that language. How do you respond? Teach me. Bonjour, does it mean like bonse?
Techitundu chenu.
Tanya Malama folks, welcome to the Zed101 Podcast.
Thank you.
Do they know what it's all about?
These people? I mean, you'd think so.
But
can I even tell you a story?
Let me remind them and then tell me the story.
Okay.
So the Zed101 Podcast is about all things Zambia. We discuss everything, even the drama that's unfolding. But, you know what's going on. It was superseded by a very nice viral video yesterday by one of the up-and-coming actresses. Yeah, but that's the story for another day. What's the story?
Oh, so someone sent me a message on TikTok. I can't remember what they were asking. They said something like, oh, you should do topics like blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So then I sort of carried the conversation out, just out of civility. Mm-hmm. So I said, oh, you should do this, you should cover this, you should cover this. And I said, have you actually watched a full episode? No, I've just seen something about full episodes. And I'm like, you're coming to tell me what we should be doing when you haven't even watched the full episode.
It's weird.
Get out of here.
Watch the damn episode, then call us, talk to us, text us. There's comments on in the comment section below and say, look, I think you should extend the conversations to this, that, or the other.
But watch the full damn episode before you say anything.
Yeah. So, how was your weekend? How was your week, rather?
Busy week. Mm-hmm. What was I doing? I did something.
You did BNZ.
Oh, yes! I did something?
Yeah. BNZ. You did something. Somebody did somebody.
Yes. So we held our networking event, Business Network Zambia, on Thursday. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. The problem is I get so involved in everything. I didn't even change. I didn't put makeup, nothing. I just looked like I was working behind the bar or something. Yeah?
Like you're an employee.
Like I was the cleaner, but side.
And you're good at cleaning.
I am good at cleaning, to be fair.
You cleaned everybody.
Exactly.
But how did it go?
It was really good. It was good. I get a little bit irritated with people. We had over 100 people register.
Yes.
But then they don't show up. And I'm like, why are you registering? It's like it's just fun to register.
What was the turnout like?
It was about 50.
I'm good with 50.
Yeah, no, but that's not the point. It's more that, because when you register, I need to know how many people are coming so that I can prep for the food and everything and drinks. Yes. Exactly. So when I don't know how many, from 120, 130 and 50, there's quite a bit of a difference, you know?
Yes.
So yeah, you get a little bit like anxious, like, oh, are we going to have so many people? Or are we going to have nobody, you know?
Yeah.
So the more people who pay in advance, the more I know that these people are definitely coming. So
they registered but did not pay?
They registered but didn't pay, yes.
Okay.
And then obviously didn't show up.
Do you think of changing it to you register and pay?
It's the way that the app is, and I'm actually going to trial a new app. There was telling me about an app, so I'm going to try a different app on the next one, which should straight away take Airtel money as well, which is, because that's the inconvenience. The app I'm using is a foreign app, and obviously you can't pay with Airtel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good.
But you're looking very dapper, very dashing.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I love the buttons.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah. You know, we're tweed. We are going fox hunting,
We're going
like
fox
I said.
hunting?
Yeah. We are using actual guns.
Oh.
Not Yamawe. Learn something. Okay. We're going fox hunting with Malama. But I don't know if we have any in Zambia.
Fox hunting?
You know what a fox is in Bemba?
No.
Mumbwe.
Oh, then you must have them if you've got a
Yeah.
word for it.
Do you know what fox
Do they
is?
actually exist?
Yeah. That's why we call them Mumbwe.
Okay. No, like. I
And in
think I've
French,
seen-
you know what it is?
Not at all.
It is Hervé Renard.
What?
Hervé Renard.
Yo.
It is the
We are at an impasse right now.
This impasse. How months? It's the name of the former Zambian coach, national team coach.
Oh.
Hervé Renard.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But you look lovely as well. I love your jacket. I love the bling.
You gave me a challenge to try and match the look today.
Everything looks good on you. The hair and the bling they're coordinating.
Thank you. She tries.
Naka Zambia. Now balang shaka Zambia.
It's my map of Zambia.
Yeah, they're looking at something else.
My sister bought this for me for Christmas.
We love you, sister. Does she watch our stuff?
Sometimes.
Oh, she better watch it this time because
Yes,
we talked about what she bought for you.
exactly.
Yeah. We dive into our topic today.
Yes. What are we going to talk about?
Something thought-provoking. It was your idea.
It sure was.
So you better have a lot of gems for this.
I got a lot to say.
We're talking about the collapse of the Zambian male. The Zambian male as a provider and the changing gender roles in Zambia. I wonder why you came up with
You
that.
said it too matter of fact. This is a very important point.
I wrote
Okay.
something up.
Okay.
We are exploring how traditional expectations of men as sole providers in Zambia are shifting and what this means for families, societies, and the future. But then note that it's not really restricted to Zambia because it's happening all over the world,
Worldwide.
in Africa as well. The power of the woman's force is not easy to ignore because they are doing things in the right way, they are dominating, and they are occupying the right spaces. So today we thought we explore this and see the interchange in roles and the mix, actually. Yeah. So you want to go and shed more light on this? What inspired you?
So there was a video clip that I watched.
Yeah.
And maybe we can throw it in. I'll share that with you, Dale.
Men, look up here. Traditional men, wake up. You need to be careful because what used to make us call ourselves men is being shattered from its root. You know, traditionally speaking, the perspective about a husband is the most empowered person financially. Traditionally, that's what it has been. The husband is usually the most financially empowered. So the mother and all the children look up to him as all of us look up to the Lord from whence cometh our help. So that definition defined our masculinity. It made us to feel that we are men because we can provide. Now we are living in a generation whereby women are making more. It's going to get serious over the next few years. So all the bragging about, listen to me, I'm the provider. Calm down, sir, I will pay you your salary. So let me say this, sir. When your wife's income is more than yours, how do you define yourself as a man? You must find a better definition of a husband than provider. Number two, there's a definition that we as men are the ones who are the final say. What if you marry a woman who is several times more intelligent than you do? Because intelligence is not measured by gender. Number three, what makes you a father is no longer just a provider. You know why? For a moment, your children will rely on you giving up to their 18. Hopefully. What if you are the father of Pella? Father, be careful how you treat your children. Don't allow this. You know, it took you 50 years to see your first 100 million. It's what they make with ease now in 1 month. So if money is what makes you a father, what do you do when your children earn more than you? Question, what makes you a father? Number two, mommy, what makes you a mother? memories of care that money can't give them, memories of attention that Facebook can't give them. They have 5 million followers, but they are feeling lonely. The memory of your care and attention, the calls you make, your presence, that my son will call me 1 hour every night. Prosperity is all around.
It struck a chord the way that he talked about the shift in the male, the role of men, and in general. So I do have a bit of a cough thing, so I'm sorry if I keep coughing on this episode.
And you're drinking cold stuff.
Anyway, so I having come back to Zambia as well, I can see the difference in what the male culture is doing abroad, because there's a lot of, like, they call it toxic masculinity abroad, right? They keep saying, oh, men need to be softer. We don't want these, aggressive male roles that exist. So they want men to be softer over there, which has kind of also led to this far movement to, like, a trans, that shift has gone that far over there. But over here, culturally, we're very... still that old culture of one man in the home and he's the provider. I still see women guadaling all over their husbands, washing hands and, like this over-the-top respect, and she's a corporate lawyer.
You're not condemning, you're just talking about it.
I'm just talking.
You're just talking about it.
It's my observation.
Yeah.
But then when I saw that clip, I started to look at how I feel like Zambian men are a little bit lost. They want to still have that role. They see the shift, but they don't quite know where their place is, They still want to have the wife, the children, the family, and the side chicks. Like, you want everything. But, like, the dynamics are no longer that way. And it's this expectation that you think that the woman's just going to accept, your wife is just going to accept this, But if they can change, if they can earn their own money, I think we're getting more divorce as well in Zambia. So I say that based on just what I've observed, not because I've got facts. But, so I think that there's a big shift. And I think Zambian men are, like, a little bit in limbo.
Okay. All right. So shall we explore? Let's start with point number one. Traditional gender roles in Zambia, as it has been understood. Okay, you've skimmed over and you're thinking modernity should not be compromised by historical behavior of the gender, isn't it?
What do you mean should not be?
Like when you made reference to a corporate lawyer who has to, go through the motions. It's not basically making sense to you.
Not to me, no. I feel like, why do I need to be so submissive when, what is that giving? What is that giving in a relationship?
So before we discuss that, because it's a point, there are two things that happen. There's recognizing the traditional role that the woman plays and the man, all right? And there's also the desire that I can actually do it. I want to do it. And then me and you understanding that in some aspects, they actually want to do that.
Who? The women want to do that?
In some aspects, there are women who say, I will do this and I'll do that. So
but is that a woman who... Go ahead.
There are a lot of high-profile women who, when prodded, they'll not go out of their way and just saying, no, I do this for my husband. But when they are in a space where they're educating, informing, and exchanging ideas with, people, they'll say, like, there are things that you can't drop the ball when it comes to this because I still do this. And yet, look at where I am. So there will be points where you can argue, and then there are points where you're thinking, this is just not making sense to me. Yeah, but you can...
I think what I would say is maybe, yes, there's an element of you still do that, respect. How do we define that? Like, why do I need to make sure that your food is cooked, that when you come home at 12 o'clock after you've seen your side chicks, I should have your nshima ready for you? Like, why does a woman feel like she needs to do that?
Well, she married into that situation. at the beginning when
She
it
did
started.
not marry into a side chick situation.
Oh, that's something different. We're talking about me and you. If we get into that situation, that's from the beginning. Because remember, there are two schools of thought here, and also there are two practical applications of the roles. There's the side where the man is taught you are the man, hey, what not, and you as a woman, this and that. But before we dilute it with our own arguments, let's do a traditional historical background, and then we explore that much
Well,
more.
because then you pick that up because I don't have that
Yes.
traditional side.
Yes, you don't. Yeah, you've got the psychedelic side, the new side. So, traditional gender roles in Zambia. Historically, Zambian society, especially we are going way back. Historically, Zambian society, especially post-colonial, promoted the idea of the man as a breadwinner and the woman as a housewife. The auntie back in the day, okay? This model became a symbol of prestige and was reinforced by the mining companies, churches, and the media. We'll talk about the mining companies. If you ask me, remind me. Yeah? Just remind me. Then men dominated formal employment, if you remember very well, while women's roles were largely domestic and undervalued in the market economy. This is where we can explore those things now. So, historically, we already touched on that. Go and get a wife, and the woman thinks this is my role. Bear children, take care of their husband, take care of the home. That's where it comes from. But that was how it started. There's been a very, very steady evolution of the roles. Okay. Then the model became a symbol of prestige and was reinforced by mining companies, churches, and the media. So, on the copper belt, mine employees, the guys, okay, it was, I don't know back then if you'd have a woman going down the pit, okay? But it was traditionally roles which were meant for the men.
Yes, it's
So,
physically demanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So per payday, the joke is, and the reality at the same time is that payday, when the brothers get paid, they'll just go missing. They don't turn up for work. They don't go home. So the traditional marriage started suffering because the women will not be taken care of in that respect. So guess what happened? They started going to the workplace on payday. When the guy is getting paid, they're there.
They're the ones waiting.
He can bugger off and do whatever he wants, but the women will get the money and
That's
go and
right.
take care of themselves and the home. Conversely, you'd find that in church, they're given the roles of cleaning the churches and singing in the choir. You'll be the receptionist. Some churches now, because of evolution, the way things have changed, some churches have got women priests, reverends and whatnot. We've seen that, even in Zambia we've seen that. And then in the media, it was also expected that in many instances, the reporters and whatnot would be the women. Yeah. But men from a long time ago, because of the traditional aspect, dominated formal employment. There was no recognition of women, because if you take it to the Western world as well, the laws were always anti-women, if you remember. You can't vote, you can't do this, you can't do that. In some of our modern countries right now, it's difficult for a woman to even drive, to do something, and yet you need the woman.
Yeah.
But that's my 2 cents on the historical background of how this traditional gender role started in Zambia. You can fire away.
Obviously, I agree. The whole concept, traditionally, men have a different physique to women,
Yeah.
so you do different types of roles. That's why men would go hunting, women would stay. When the hunt has been brought home, the women would be the ones cooking. So I get all that. It makes perfect sense.
And gathering, actually. When we go hunting, you guys are gathering.
Yes.
Fruits,
Yes.
wild mushrooms and
Yes,
whatnot.
yeah. Which is also like when you have, even now, if you're in the village, you have the people who go to till the land, it tends to be the women,
So do you know why it flips? That's why you come and attack me and my fellow men. Because of men going hunting and women going gathering, it is said that women are born investigators. So while I'm trying, Dale and I have decided we're going to hunt buffalo. We're going to look for buffalo. We become specialist hunters. Like, this we know, no, this side we can tell the smell and whatnot. You guys are gathering. You'll be like, okay, now Wishwa, Ubowa, Nyuku, and whatnot. You'll be foraging, looking for the kind of stuff to come and complement the meat that we bring. So you'll be able to find, hence the term, women are natural investigators. That's why when a guy gets home and is high as a kite, he goes and, she gets up and picks and starts checking.
That's
and
right.
You guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So from my end, the one example that I'll give you, which is a statistical example, is in the early decades after independence, over 92% of parliamentarians were men, reflecting how deeply these roles were entrenched. The sad thing about it is that even now in Zambia as we speak, there are very few women in parliament.
Yes.
Okay. Now there's no excuse, because I think now deliberately us men don't want women in parliament. That's what I think.
I agree, but I think also I get a sense from women that we're not allowed to be opinionated, right? So if you're in parliament, the idea is that you should be saying, this has not been done. Why are we doing this like this and this and this? We've been waiting for you to do this for this amount of time, right? And which kind of contravenes what's expected of a woman's demure nature. We're supposed to be quiet and well-behaved,
Yep.
And that kind of doesn't quite gel with being in parliament. But I feel like it's one of the issues I have. I am too vocal, too opinionated. And I've actually had fights with men, just like at Essence when it was turn and tender. You start chatting to people, and within half an hour I'm fighting with them because my opinion is too strong for some men. And so you end up, they're not used to a woman having an opinion that strong.
Okay, I'm going to be on your side here, simply because I have an idea of how men are. I think predominantly the argument starts because I don't have a rebuttal, a logical rebuttal. Not just saying, you're a woman, just sit down. No, I don't have a logical rebuttal to what you said.
Exactly.
One. Two, I did not expect you to be as knowledgeable
That's right.
in that field.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who the heck does this chick think?
Exactly.
So I will default to, who is this chick? Who is she sleeping with? Who did she come with?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So because of that, I deliberately failed to recognize the evolution of the gender role in that respect, okay? Because even if we're in a bar, there are two genders there. I will not accept the fact that she can stand up to me because I'm trying to dominate you, even in a place of leisure. I don't want to hear what you're saying. So I don't know how you end up defending yourself, because you, as being as aggressive as you are, I don't know, you lash out. Or do you try now to calm them down and say, look, can we just talk?
No, I mean, I'll just keep fighting with you.
Okay.
It's
quite difficult. I was telling you that the progression over the decades, 92% were men in parliament in Zambia. Okay. Right now, there are very few still. But in England, it's 41%.
That's right, yeah.
41% is not
because
50%, but it's
the
a
nature
goddamn
of that
good number.
activity,
Yes.
It's not a male activity to be in parliament, And like you said about the investigative thing, women are, they will dive deeper into information. They'll look as to why we've got this opinion or that opinion, So they're actually quite good in that role. If you see, remember how Kemi Badenoch, the way that she comes across,
She's a viper, that one.
Exactly.
She's a viper.
Yeah. So it works to have women in there,
I'm trying to see how many we've got in the Zambian parliament.
How many women? It's like 5, isn't it? If that. Yeah.
Yeah, the ones they like. But in Zambia, you see, the playing field is very different. UK, because I know you can speak for the UK, you can explain what I'll leave out. In the UK, they kind of if you're good, if you've got the qualities, they will accept that.
Yes.
In Zambia, what we know is that as you're admiring yourself in that mirror, okay, I hope you're listening. That
Of course, I'm always
to
listening.
what I'm saying.
Of course.
That in Zambia,
I use ears, not eyes, to listen.
we've got 8 MPs. Huh? How
8.
many do we have? Yeah, something like that.
Isn't it part of Bill 7 to have more women as well?
Ish. I think I should say what percentage, not how many women.
Percentages, yeah.
No, that one's going to address that, but still it just doesn't make sense because they'll tell you that we want to add 20 more women, 15 youth, and 3 people
Yeah.
with disabilities. It's
Yes.
just nonsense.
I
20,
know, I
20 out of,
I know.
let's not get there.
But the other problem is women. If I get the impression that there's not enough women who think or believe that they can run for MP of whatever,
Yeah.
Kalingalinga or whatever.
Oh, here.
Yeah. So
They-
that's
they-
the other problem.
They've got challenges. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, the challenges are created by us men. The biggest challenges are that women they want to be used as tools. All right? They're sexualized.
Yes.
In the process of the campaigns and whatnot, a lot of women are proposed at, and a lot of women are told, well, sexual favors and whatnot. Some have tried to report, but it ends there because they say that women will not handle the kind of insults that come with the terrain. You know?
Do you know I was talking to to this man one time, and he was asked, firstly, like, he invited me to go for a drink, and we were going to talk about the business that he was
Yes.
working in. And so obviously it starts as a business conversation, and then it starts to change into something else. So he goes to me, so I really like you. I want us to have something. I said, but I don't want to have anything with you. I said, I'm not attracted to you. So he said, why don't you want to be, he didn't say boyfriend, but why don't you want to be with me? And I said, because I'm not attracted to you. And what tends to happen is women will always say something like, oh, I have a boyfriend. Like, if there was no boyfriend, you would have a chance.
Yeah, that's the wrong answer to give.
Yes, but I blatantly said, I'm not attracted to you. And he goes, why not? Are you a lesbian? And I was like, no, you're just not attractive to me. But the fact that I didn't want you can only mean that I must be a lesbian.
Oh,
There's
no.
something wrong with me.
No, no. Looking guy. So let's go to the second point. The second point says economic shifts and the collapse of the male provider. The context behind that is economic crisis, especially from the late 80s, led to declining real wages and widespread poverty, making it difficult for men to provide single-handedly. That we'll understand because that's world over. And then many men lost jobs due to mine closures and economic restructuring, forcing families to adapt. In Zambia, 100% it happened. There was the issue of now changing from nationalized mines to privatization. Women increasingly entered the workforce out of necessity, not just of choice. Because I don't have enough to provide, my partner now decides I need to get a job. Because remember, in some instances,
You're saying
there were
it in quite
let
a
me qualify
clinical
that.
way.
No, let me qualify that. In some instances, the women getting into these marriages were well qualified to do a job, but because tradition dictated that this is your husband, he will provide everything. So now that is triggered because the guy can't provide enough. The circumstances in the economic
Or
sector
at
have
all,
changed.
not even enough at
or
all.
at all, yes.
And I think that was definitely huge in the 90s.
Yeah.
I remember just getting a sense that there were so many women who were contributing to the homes because, to the point of men were losing their jobs. And
Yeah.
the thing is, when they lose their jobs, they then just disappear. And it's not like, oh, let's work together, let's be cohesive. Then you end up with just the woman looking after the children and maybe his sister's cousins' other children or whatever.
Yeah.
So it becomes her responsibility. And it would be as simple as starting a market stall, and that's how they started, trying to support the family.
Yeah.
But I think what I saw was women started to realize, actually, I'm very good at this thing. Opening shops, they were able to find business opportunities women were going to Zimbabwe and buying things and bringing back blankets. I recall that side as well.
My mom did that, used to do that.
Exactly.
But she was working as a civil servant.
Yes, exactly. So that kind of entrepreneurialness came through a lot with women, and it was like they didn't see themselves as like, I'm a very important person. It was like, I need to bring money into this house. This man has disappeared, and I've got these children that I need to look after. And so it was just out of necessity that they came through, not even because that they believed in themselves.
The example given is that on the Copper Belt, families began to see women's employment as essential for survival. Though men sometimes, and we're going to underscore sometimes, felt shame or loss of status when unable to provide alone.
Yes, yes.
I don't know, because the way our society has been arranged, for lack of a better phrase, is that the issues of bringing in psychiatrists and psychologists, that was something seen on TV. It never made sense to your average Zambian, counselors and whatnot. That stuff only started when you had diseases like HIV coming up. That's when we started learning about words like, you need to be counseled first. And we strictly stuck to that kind of thinking. We did not think of, I'm in a state and I need somebody to realign my thoughts. So in a lot of cases, like you were saying, that the guy will just simply disappear, okay? Then the woman picks up and says, 1 week, 2 weeks, this man is not around. So we don't know now if he's going to, I suspect there's a hoodrat there.
100%.
Yeah, but I know that's where he's split to. So instead of me guessing, I'm going to pick myself up, dust myself up.
You've got no choice.
Take care of myself and the kids.
That's right.
When he comes, if he comes, we'll deal with that. Yeah.
Anyway, that's another issue, because I find that irritating as well, and then the family is called, and then she's told, no, he's back, just accept him back, so you save face for the sake of the family, not because you actually want this man back. And then he has the nerve to still be keeping in touch with that person that he was spending 9 months with when he disappeared.
That's a can of worms you're opening.
This is what I see in Zambia.
I don't think it's just Zambia only. It's just that I consider ourselves as a very petty country. Petty as in the important things are swept under or hidden. The most stupid things, and I'm saying it clearly, the most stupid things take prominence.
Like?
The other day, how the heck are you going to take a rooster to the police station and say, this is, oh my gosh.
There's been a stupid story.
You remember that story? We have the most stupid things happening and taking prominence. The important things are like, no, let's talk. No, it doesn't work like that. But yeah, I think we can move on to point number 3. Yeah. Point number 3 is directly talking about changing gender roles and the new realities. There's a lot of destabilization that happens because now the roles are changed, but we'll discuss that later. Let me add some context to this. I'll first start with an example. A working woman, as a teacher, may still defer major household decisions to the husband, even if she earns a steady income. You agree or not?
Yeah.
Agree? Yeah.
It tends to be that the likelihood is he will still earn just a little bit more, right? I don't know how it's done here, but in the UK, for example, what you would do is you have your bank account, he has his bank account, then you have a joint bank account.
Yeah.
And then in the joint bank account, you put the money that's necessitated for the month, let's say. The rent, the electricity, the gas, what are the main bills that we need?
In the joint.
And that money goes into the joint account, but you still maintain your other accounts.
Yeah.
And, like something that I used to do, we would have a joint account, and then we would have money which was like joint money for going out. And this was me doing my gender roles. There was a card for that that account, but when we went out, he would pay. But it was our joint money that was paying. And, because waiters will default to a man to give you the bill, So, yeah, and I would sit there and, act as if I'm not the one who contributed half
As if
that
you
money.
haven't paid shit.
Yeah.
Society, there's a lot of societal changes that need to also happen, but it's, I think, little by little, I think. I had a friend.
Do you feel like, I know this is all very clinical what we're talking about. What I wanted to try to get to was, do you think men feel emasculated with these changes that are happening?
I do agree. You see, the men who go along with that, in my opinion, are the guys who speak. Please don't slaughter me here, men. Please, I just wanna. This is my understanding of all this thing. I think the men who are comfortable with the woman being dominant and the woman being an equal partner, are men who, on the side, sit down with the partner and say, "I don't need this to come out. That you take care of this, you do this," because they feel like they are at a total weak point when it comes out. Like, okay, so she owns the house, she owns this, she does that, and he's just there. Because as aggressive as society is to women, men are weaker in dealing with that.
What do you mean?
Men are weaker at being a victim. Emotionally, I find that we're weaker at being called out. As opposed to women who can take stuff, they'll flip it and say, okay, I'm coming at you. All right? Here's the thing. When you flipped it and said, I'm coming at you with this, the guy took an aggressive position. All right? That's a position of weakness. Because you're standing at that position of weakness, you can't listen to logic. You want to attack her. But when you go and crawl in your little corner, you're like, no, God damn it, she was saying the truth. So I think a lot of men who fall into that category of accepting are the ones, in my opinion, sit down with their partner and say, babe, please, stop broadcasting. Don't tell people that it's all good because of you. That's how I feel about it.
Do you think the reason we have so many men with side chicks is because part of their life is they've been emasculated in some way, and then the only way they can find that sense of like masculinity again is by having side chicks?
No.
When you don't have enough money in the house for rent, but you can be giving this other woman extra money.
No, but that's not making sense.
So I find the side chick situation, it's also about the woman is a side chick because she's about to get money from you, right? She knows that I'm not going to be your wife, but what am I going to get out of this whole relationship, right? It's not just sex. The sex is for you. She's doing that for you. It's not really because she wants the sex, if you get what I mean. Then it's the whole like, what was it someone was saying? I'll give you 30,000 kwacha. Anyway, my point is, there's a monetary value attached to being a side chick. Either you pay for my house or my car or my hair or whatever, right? And then I commit to being your side chick.
Okay.
But now that money you're putting into someone else and not into your home.
Okay.
So that then causes extra issues in the home because somehow there's less money that's coming into the home.
The side chick problem comes in because you want her a side chick.
Yes, but what I'm saying is the reason you want that is you're unfulfilled. Why do you want a side chick?
I'm grappling to understand why I'm unfulfilled and why the side chick. What is she going to fulfill?
What do you get from having a side chick?
What is the woman going to give me that I won't get? The side chick, the side piece. What is she going to give me that I won't get from home?
That's what I want to know.
No,
why do you guys have so many side chicks?
No, I'm asking you because the root cause is not I want to get a side chick, but I'm not providing enough at home.
No. There is a root cause of self-esteem. And you seem to think that you'll get it by having these other women because they're, fawning over you. They make you feel, maybe the wife has stopped giving you head. I don't know, right? So you need to go and get that from someone else. Or it's been like months since you last had sex in the house. So then you can have more regular sex outside of the house.
Okay.
And sex is still about self-esteem.
Okay, so if you as a woman are not getting that, what do you do?
If I as a woman am not getting what? Sex.
Yeah, I'm going to flip it on the other side. What do you do if you're not getting the same reasons that cause a man to flip and go to the other side? What do you do as a woman?
There's
And you know we're digressing.
yeah, well, we are and we're not, because what I'm trying to get to is the crux of the reason why the role is changing is because men are becoming demasculated, right? Because now, me as a woman, I know that I don't need to rely on your income. I've got my own income, right?
Okay.
A lot of the times, it's the attraction between men and women that starts to disappear.
We have a point that's going to address that, but it's specific. It's social impact and family dynamics. But what I think is, if I were to flip it as well, like the woman decides, this is not happening to me.
What do you mean, this is not happening to me? What?
If she's not getting the affection and the intimacy she's looking for in that relationship, she's always had in that relationship, does she flip also and find a Ben 10? Or
100%.
Yes. So do we condemn one more than the other?
See, because I think one of the problems...
Do we condemn one more than the other?
No, but I think the problem that we have is this needing to look good for the outside world. You know, people stay married in Zambia because the church will see me, I can't divorce my husband because the church will see me as a divorced woman. Right? And then culturally, no, as women, we stay in marriages. You can't leave your husband. And so you end up just staying in these loveless relationships, pretending you care for each other, when neither one of you really does. Whereas in the UK, you just go, you know what, this is done. Let me book out.
No, I think the root cause of me getting a side chick, a man sending a side chick, goes beyond me not providing enough at home.
So where is the beyond? Why else?
I think there's probably a challenge to my, because, okay, let me argue it like this. It's not logical. It doesn't make sense that I can't provide at home, but I'm able to get a side chick, parent and whatnot. You see what I mean? I'm not providing enough, rather. Enough.
But what I'm saying is you just take the money and you move it to the side chick. And then the home has less money.
Yes.
I know someone whose husband disappeared for 9 months. And he said he was working somewhere. He was a builder, so he was working somewhere else.
Zambia.
Yes. And you know the person.
I missed it.
Anyway, leave. Just leave it. What are you going to do with your finger like that?
Come off your soul. I didn't want it to. Yeah.
Anyway.
We're doing a gender thing. I'm the cleaner now. Yeah. So he booked out for 9 months.
So he books out for 9 months, doesn't send any money home.
They got kids?
They have 3 children, and then one of his relatives also is staying with them.
Okay.
And he disappears for 9 months. And then he suddenly comes back, having never sent any money or contributed. And he claims, no, they didn't pay me. You work for 9 months, no pay.
Yeah.
So anyway, she suspects that he was with another woman. He was staying with another woman. And that money that he was earning was just going to that woman.
And the money finished?
Yeah, she never saw a penny of it. It never came into the house. She even had to move house, Chanda. She had to move house because she couldn't afford to pay the rent.
For the bigger house?
For the house that they were in together, because they were contributing, both of them, to the home. So in that 9 months, within 6 months, she then had to move to a smaller place.
Yeah.
Then he comes back and he demands the position of husband in the house.
How did she handle it?
They fought.
Who won?
At the end, she kicked him out. They fought. She got him reported to the police and da-da-da-da.
For abandoning the family?
It's probably the anger and the aggression more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, you think you can just come back and everything goes back to normal? No. And the fact that you're fighting with the man means I'm not even afraid of this power dynamic that we're supposed to have.
I agreed. Look, if she's right, she's right. If he's right, he's right. Find a common cause where you can get together. But the issue of I have money, it's not, to start with, it's not enough. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. That's why we're talking about gender roles. It's not enough. For me,
Well, it's not enough for the lifestyle you want.
No, wait. It's not enough for the family. Forget the lifestyle.
Okay.
So if it's not already enough for the family, how do I now get the not enough money to go and invest in a side chick? You see? That's basically your question, isn't it?
No, I've just explained.
No. The
You
other
take
question,
the money and you put it in the side chick.
all of it.
Yes, sir. She didn't see any money in that home for the 9 months.
Okay. The problem is going to do with
Someone was getting the money.
Well, the problem, in my opinion, had nothing to do with him not earning enough money.
What did it have to do with?
The two of
I'm
them.
saying the choice that he was making to then go to a side chick as opposed to going to his wife.
I agree 100%. The man should be castrated, or he should be. What's that thing? He should be infested with 1,000 fleas.
Yes. May your balls be infested.
With 1,000 fleas. You can't scratch all of them. Yeah, but these are the dynamics of what's going on and how we are able to manage them or not. In the Western world, there are some mechanisms, some tools which you default to, psychologists, whatever it is. Depression is better handled there, or at least they try to handle it. They are more receptive to family situations than we are here, because we always think, what will people say?
No, but here you handle it with the church. It's
That's
the
what I'm
same
saying.
thing.
What will people say?
Yes.
Yes. The church, when...
But I'm saying that you would go speak to your pastor about, my husband has not been home for months, and then you keep it between the pastor and you, and then you get those pastors who say, if you sleep with me, then your husband will come back. Did you see that clip? I see someone in Chipata. So he goes...
He must have been a lungu. It's a lungu.
There's no name. He goes to see Nganga.
There's no name?
No. He goes to see an Nganga to say, my wife has left me. So the Nganga's doing the thing to bring back the wife, bring back lost lover. But she's naked. And it's at 3 a.m. that this thing is happening. And he's overcome. So he ends up raping the Nganga.
Why would you be naked? Is that part of the ritual?
Yes, that was part of the ritual. She had to be naked. And he couldn't resist,
I was going to say
then rapes her.
But Moava is going to watch this. Moava, that is good. No, I'm not going to say anything blasphemous. Nah. So he
then
he
rapes.
assaulted on her.
Yes. And so he was arrested for rape.
We need to go to the Nganga. Why would you be naked at 3 a.m.?
Yes. But you've seen those clips where the pastor's praying for the woman, and then the husband arrives and he's naked. And you're just like, are you people serious?
Before our man shuts us down, let's tackle number 4. We only have 2 more points.
Go.
Anyway. So point number 4 is the social impact and family dynamics. In urban Lusaka, it's increasingly common to see couples running small businesses together, or both partners employed, sharing financial burdens. We see that. Employed at the Bank of Zambia, employed at the hospital, but they've got a business going, whether it's Yango, a market stand and whatnot. It's happening. But the context is that the inability, because of the social impact it has, the inability of men to fulfill the traditional provider role can lead to stress, family conflict, or even breakdowns in some households. We don't know, but here it's a money thing, okay? The inability for him to fulfill the traditional role. Secondly, some families adapt by sharing responsibilities, while others struggle with shifting identities, which we spoke about, like when you went on ninja on the guy. So the shifting of the identities leading to tension or even violence. We know women who are beaten. The men who are beaten never want to report. It's embarrassing as far as they are concerned. You can't go to your uncle and say, Madam Varanguma. It's just unheard of. It's taboo and whatnot. Then there's also a growing narrative of partnership where both men and women contribute to household needs and decision making. Hence the example of what happens in some Lusaka households, but they're restricted to Lusaka. It's also countrywide. And like you gave an example, you have a joint account for joint expenses and whatnot, and then you've got your separate accounts for whatever you want to do. So for whatever he wants to do, she wants to do, she's going to finance Ben 10. that's her thing. If he's going to finance somebody, it's not coming out from the family money. Yeah, but that's just the issue regarding social impact and family dynamics, the fighting, the differences.
So there was an interesting story. I was talking to a lawyer friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he's like a divorce lawyer. So he says to me, can you believe the nerve of this woman? Setting the standard, right? Can you believe the nerve of this woman? During the marriage, she took some of the money, or she was, sort of siphoning some money. She's bought a plot.
Yeah.
She's built on the plot.
Yes.
And the husband only found this out after she then wanted a divorce. So basically, she was is it premeditated that she knew this marriage is over? She started to set herself up.
Yeah.
So that when they divorced, she had somewhere to go.
Just moves out.
Now, he's acting as though the woman was very wrong in setting herself up or getting herself sorted. But is that not a clever thing to do?
Two things. First, it could be a clever thing to do. Secondly, she was not in the marriage for the actual marriage itself. She knew that.
No. When the marriage is done, it's done.
No.
You guys
you asked me.
You drag this shit out unnecessarily.
Can I answer?
Leave the person if you don't love them anymore.
I'm saying she did that maybe because she knew it was done, but also from the beginning he was a means to an end. Period. I'm gonna marry this guy. I'll siphon money from him. I'll build, and then
the money was hers.
Oh, he didn't say that at the beginning.
No. It was her money.
But
So they both work. And so, but she was taking her money and putting this. So, like I was saying about the two separate bank accounts, right? From her money, she then bought a plot, started building on it, blah, 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 blah. And then at the point of divorce, she was sorted.
Okay. So probably the guy didn't think there was anything wrong in that marriage at that time.
No. Stop defending.
I'm not defending
We don't
him.
even know, right?
I'm not defending
My
him.
point is, if your relationship is not working, he was not giving.
But even your lawyer
The fact
is
that
saying, can you believe the nerve this
But
woman
that's
has?
what I'm trying to get to.
So I'm saying
it's
probably-
that male perception that how dare you prepare yourself for something you know is broken.
But do you agree, or can you also accept
So she
my
should
opinion?
have died. She should have fallen into nothing, have zero money, and then crawl away.
No, I'm not saying that.
In poverty.
What I'm saying, do you agree with my opinion that probably from the husband's perspective, he had not seen anything wrong with their marriage?
No.
She saw it and was preparing herself.
No. Men will stay in the marriage and do outside. This is what I'm trying to say. When the core of the relationship is broken, they go find fulfillment somewhere else. Now with women, you don't rush to do a Ben 10.
You start building.
You start building a home. But you guys, it's side chick after side chick after side chick, thinking that's going to solve whatever problem that you have.
Yep.
And it never does.
So you don't.
It just gives you more problems.
So you don't agree that maybe he did not see that as a problem. He did not see any problem in that relationship.
No,
maybe
he knew there were fundamental problems. He did not pursue divorce. This is what I'm saying.
Okay.
He carried on outside,
to your lawyer
thinking
friend,
keep the relationship.
Okay, according to your lawyer friend, the man knew.
He knew his relationship was over.
Okay, so when
But the point of choosing to go to divorce, this is what I was saying earlier, that you think just stay in the relationship because the church will judge us, our parents will judge us, Let me just go outside with a Kasai chick to get the fulfillment I'm not getting in the home. The woman was like, I'm not getting the fulfillment in the home. Let me prep myself and then get a divorce. Men don't think to go to divorce. Why not?
I'm going to move to point number 5. Because after these arguments, I don't know which one of us is filing for divorce. But I think...
I filed for divorce long time ago.
I think we're heading there right now.
2007 I filed.
Okay. So it's dynamic. You never know. There is an issue of dominance. It's my way or get out. And then also some women are very, very self-protective, whereas they are like, you know what? I don't want to get into physical fights with this gentleman. Like we talked about the social impact. I'm not going to get into this physically. He can clear me out. He can disable me. I'll no longer be marketable. I'll no longer be in a position to help my kids, all right, or fend for myself. So let me plan it properly. I will exit in a very amicable manner. I won't ask for anything. When it comes to that moment, I will not fight it. I'll simply say, where do I sign? That is how your lawyer friend's client, now their wife, was planning things. If he did not say it, tough luck. If he knew that there was a problem in the marriage and did not make any effort to mend it, even tougher luck. Okay. But clearly, she had reached a point where this thing is not working. I've flipped it. I've tried. I've done everything. It's not working. So the presumption by the lawyer that, can you believe the nerve of this woman, is also the lawyer. Sorry, don't start a conversation like that. Remember, a lawyer friend. Just say. In fact, you're not even allowed to talk about your clients like that. Anyway.
I mean, he didn't disclose who it was. It was, just in conversation.
Yeah. Number 5, looking forward. Yeah, we're doing well, aye. Looking forward, opportunities and challenges. Gender roles in Zambia are evolving, but challenges remain. Persistent stereotypes, unequal pay, limited female representation in leadership. We have policies like the National Gender Policy 2023, which is pushing for equality and women's empowerment. And then also, it comes with what some of the clauses of Bill 7 are trying to work on, as in we need to deliberately have X number of women in these positions and whatnot. But also, the Bembas, the slogan from the Bembas, Vana Mayo, Vengabo Menshto Yavashtata. Translation, women can do what men can do. Simple. It reflects a new mindset among the younger generation. Right now, it's a very difficult conversation between Gen Z and the baby boomers. Okay? The baby boomers, our parents are like, there's nothing you know. There are very few of them who've actually evolved with generational changes. So for you to convince some parent that this is what's going on, it's difficult. The conversations you're going to have with Jay, or the ones I'm going to have with Mobs, are very different. So first, we like to listen to what they're saying before we hit out. But there's a school of thought from some strictly headmaster thinking like parents, like, no way. So those are the things we're talking about in terms of looking forward, the challenges and the opportunities. Voila. Talk to me. Young women are now pursuing careers in fields like engineering and politics, areas once dominated by men. You cannot be. You are going to be a nurse. You're going to be a pupil teacher.
Oh, but you're also getting male nurses. There's a lot of male nurses.
But that's why we're discussing gender roles. It's changed. The difference now is a male nurse, a woman would demand, I need a...
You've got female doctors.
Exactly.
I mean, this is sounding very archaic, the way we're talking right now.
Yeah, but it's what has happened. We're not... It can sound archaic, but these are things that have happened to lead us to where we are. Right now, you've got women who are doing extremely well in positions which, unfortunately for the male gender, should have been for them, as far as they're concerned. I am the one who's supposed to be CEO for that company, not that woman. There's in Botswana, it happened a few weeks back or last month. The woman, I think Botswana Telecommunications, she was acting in a position and boom, profit soared. But guess what? She's being replaced by a guy.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, well,
there was no need for her to be replaced because when she took over, the situation was different.
Yeah.
But she's flipped it and it's been working quite well.
Yeah.
She's made a profit for the business. So there really was no need for her to be replaced, but it is happening still.
Yeah, I mean, generally, there is a different way that women lead, and you'll find even, like the lady who was Pepsi's CEO for a long time. Yeah. The female element of empathy gets brought into businesses, whereas with the way that men who are in the C-suite, it's very cutthroat and it's very financially driven, it's bottom line driven. And so people sort of have put across that it's better to work where there's a female CEO than where there's a male CEO. But again, it's just down to what's the culture that you're bringing to your company, if you're all about the money, then only people who are all about the money should work in your company.
Yeah.
If you have an element of empathy,
Then you change the stream.
if you have a long perspective on things as opposed to short perspective, like per quarter, you know, or like looking out to a year or 5 years within your company, they're very different ways of operating, you know. And it still speaks to the foraging thing that you were saying. Women have that nature of looking much further than men do.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying men don't. I said, you know.
Yeah, but it's true. The foraging issue, going to gather stuff, is in case they don't find anything to kill. They'll come back, and they'll still have, it will be a vegetable meal, but they'll eat. Yeah, so that's why, even back in the, there was a way they were complimenting each other. It's just that they were very strict, like, you were, me.
It's not that, I don't think it's not that women couldn't hunt.
No,
right? And there are
I'm not
some
disagreeing
tribes.
with you. I'm saying there were ways they were complimenting each other. It's just at that time, they were strict. They were like, Iwe nifi.
It's not just that. Don't forget that women had to go through, the whole point was, in this unionship, I'm the one who's going to have children. That was not changeable.
No,
right?
that's not gonna
So as soon as I'm now pregnant, safety and security becomes the requirement, right? I need to make sure that this child that I'm about to birth survives.
Goes to full term.
Yes.
Yeah.
Survives and grows.
Yep.
So you need to do more of that thing of like going and bringing in the food while I'm doing the nurturing and raising, you know, building of this baby that's inside of me. So there was a difference. And then once also as a woman, once you've given birth,
Yeah, you're in a state.
you are very soft and delicate and, you know, you need to be looked after. Like your security is the thing that I think I'm trying to get to. I've got to make sure I don't die while I'm in childbirth, and you know, I've got to make sure I can breastfeed, so I need to have eaten as well, you know. So all those basic fundamentals are more what we had, but we're changing it, and like it becomes like a power battle, you know. Now you're using your power over me. Now, after I've given birth, why should I still be following those rules?
Okay. We conclude.
Go.
The collapse of the traditional male provider, this role is not just about economics anymore. It's done. It's about changing mindsets, policies, and family dynamics.
So what should men do when they're no longer the dominant person in the house?
I think by the time you're realizing that, you and your wife, you and your partner would have already reached a point of the way we're going to go forward. Because if there's not, that communication is not there, you won't be seeing the guy. Or you find the guy hanging somewhere. And they'll say, it's a woman, you know, we'll blame you. It's a woman. Yeah. But there has to be communication leading to, I'm going through this right now. This has happened right now. Because right now, there are guys who've been fired from work. Their wife only finds out after 7 months.
Yes.
Yes. Whereas guys, immediately things go bad, the first point of call is your husband or your partner. That's why the example you gave, by default, a guy hits on you. The woman says, I have a boyfriend. No, I don't want you. I'm not attracted to you. Yes, you are a man, but not my kind of a guy.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
So the woman will directly go and tell the husband, the partner, or the family, guys, it's wild for me. The man will be like, but here, no, let me just hang on to it. Maybe by the time I would have found another job, then I'll say, no, actually now I'm working for ZCBC. I'm no longer who I say.
So pride.
Yeah, that is a very, very, it's a very bad thing. Yeah. As Zambia continues to evolve, so too will the roles of men and women, hopefully toward a more equal and supportive society. Agreed?
Yes.
So, I'm going to recap, then we bugger off.
Sure.
1, colonial and post, you need to comment. Short comment. For short comment.
That one,
Colonial and post-colonial Zambia promoted male breadwinner roles. Yes or no?
No. It's way before that.
We're dealing with this.
No.
So I say
No.
Okay. Economic crises have undermined men's ability to provide alone, increasing women's workforce participation.
Sure.
Agreed?
And that's in general, even the war in
Yeah.
the Western worlds, you know, men worked in the factories, but then when men had to go to war, the women had to then go to the factories. It was
Go
the
to
women building
factories.
the bombs
Yes.
and the men firing them.
And also the caring. The women moved into that position, the nursing and whatnot. Third, gender roles are shifting, but stereotypes and power imbalances persist.
Yes,
Agreed?
because men are too prideful.
Yeah. Families adapting in different ways with both positive and negative outcomes. Yeah. My wife is now the CEO. I'm just a manager at my company.
Well, that was the interesting shift in dynamic with, what's her name? God, I've forgotten her name. Vice President of America, Kamala.
Kamala, yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting to see that dynamic.
Yeah. Well, are they still together?
Yes.
Okay. The last one is national policies and changing attitudes are paving the way for greater gender equality, as slow as it may be.
Yeah. I mean, policy is one thing, but what the people do is another, isn't it? You know,
Pronouncing
you still like in the UK, for example, the policies are there, but the cultures, like let's say the Muslim cultures, which are very known for sticking to their ways, you know, they don't necessarily follow the policies of the British.
Well, on that note, I hope that Zed101 has done justice to a very difficult topic. Malama wanted to go all brutal on it, but she's wearing a very nice jacket, so, you know, she won't go into that.
I think I'm hungover, actually.
2 a.m. sending pictures of bottles and saying, I can't find Dale. He's not answering. But from Chanda Michael, please.
Out.